So viewers have been asking me for a while to make map guides, and I've wanted to make them actually for a long time. It's just that making them in live matches can, be somewhat difficult, especially considering you can't really choose which maps you load into. But the devs were gracious enough to unlock custom lobbies for my account, allowing me to produce this type of content. So in today's video, I'm going to do a full cracked map guide for King of the Hill. Now, I thought about doing it for like AD as well, but I think the video would just be too long. So I wanted to focus on King of the Hill first and foremost, and then maybe we can do the AD version a little bit later down the line. So we're in a match of cracked right now on King of the Hill. As you can see, it's a custom lobby. I'm going to go through flag by flag and try and show you guys the spots that I like to push and how I like to approach certain things and get to different areas of the map or that specific flag cap area where potentially people can be sitting and can be hard to get up to and stuff like that. So on A1, there's not a ton of stuff going on, but if you have people like camping on this part over here, like maybe right there or on this roof or something, you can actually just jump on these HESCO barriers, jump on here and then sprint, jump on here and then get up on this roof. Obviously you can get to the roof from here as well, but that's just an alternate route to get on this specific roof. And obviously you're always going to want to look into either of these buildings, so this one and this one, which are two new buildings, well, newer buildings that they opened up, but people can definitely be sitting in here in the corners, just waiting for the flag to be capped. So if you cannot see anybody really quickly, look for the people sitting in those two buildings. And then of course in this little nook here, people love to sit here to cap this flag, so just be sure to check that specific spot when you're approaching A1 and trying to find out who is actually capturing this flag. So for A2, now A2, a very popular spot, is obviously on the roof. So the most glaring way to get up there is the ladder. So there's a ladder on either side, so right here and right there. But unfortunately, when players are sitting up here, it is very easy to hear somebody coming up those ladders. So I wanted to show you guys alternate routes to get up here. So when you're on this side of the A2 cap point, you can actually get up on these crates, get up here, and then get up on this little lip and just jump up here. So you might be able to catch somebody off guard. Obviously, there's a lot more audio things happening when you're in a live match right now. Somebody would have heard me coming up, but it just gives you an alternate route. Now, the caveat is these boxes can be destroyed. So if the boxes are destroyed, you can just get up on these HESCO barriers and then run, jump, get up on this lip, and then get up on the roof here. So really bypassing the need to use any of those ladders. And it's arguably a little bit quicker because you're not stuck in the animation to go up the ladder, in which you can't really fire your weapon or anything. You have complete free will. And obviously there's ways to get into these towers here, so just jump up on the HESCO barriers, then jump into the tower. Same thing for that tower over there. If we were to run over here, you can just simply jump up on this HESCO barrier wall and then jump into that tower, not like I did right there. Don't fail, but let's just do that again real quick. Jump here, and then failed again. But yeah, there is a way to get up there. I'm just really brain dead right now. A couple of spots you're going to want to check when you're capping A2 if there is somebody on the flag. So one popular spot is that corner right here, which you can actually get up to and just lay down in. So always check this corner when you're entering this room. You can also get up here on this bunk bed and then just crouch here and then hide here. So those are two very popular spots where people like to sit. You can also do it right here. And then on this side, obviously, people like to sit up here, which is very popular, and it allows you also to see what's happening on that side of A2. So moving over to Bravo, obviously Bravo is a pretty interesting point to fight at because it's in the middle of a bunch of buildings. People can be pretty much anywhere. So the most obvious way to get up on this specific group is just like going up this ramp that is, pretty visible and obvious, but you can actually get up through here as well. So just jump up on here, the vehicle, and then jump up on this tin roof or aluminum roof, and then jump up on here to potentially flank opponents and not always use the most, utilized route. So that's one way you can get up here. And obviously there are ladders everywhere, but it's always kind of a gamble whether you'll be able to get up the ladder without getting shot once you make your way up there. One very popular spot that I like to put spawn beacons is back here. So not a lot of people check back here. So very, very nice spot if you're playing recon to put a beacon right there. So obviously B is over there. The flag cap is pretty minimal, but you can often find people standing up on this building here. You wouldn't want to use this ladder, and obviously this ladder is a pretty tall climb, so if you have people that are on Charlie 2, they'll be able to see you very easily. Now, one way that you can bypass most of the animation is jumping up on this box, this terracotta roof, and then just, you know, climbing up very quickly here. So you missed most of the animation there, and you're just already on the roof. So very nifty. There's also multiple other ways that you can get on these roofs. Obviously, you always want to check on these, whatever these are called. So just pieces of tissue, or not tissue, but material that are just hung here. People can be sitting on here and laying down, and they make it very difficult to see if they're there or not. Also a great place to put a spawn beacon. You can also get on this roof right here. So, you know, when you're walking towards Bravo, just jump up on this thing and then just climb up here. So that is another way of getting up here. And then you also have an option to get up on these roofs here by this side. So when you're approaching from A2 going down this corridor here, you know, just jump up on this trash and then jump up on this Hescoberry, then over here, and you're on the roof. Now, when you're capturing Bravo, you got to pay attention to a few key spots here. So inside, obviously nobody can cap from inside, but people can get up on here, and I'll show you how to get up on this little lip here. So just jump on here, and then you can just jump, sprint, and then you are on here and lay down. It's a pretty, you know, easy place to spot people that are sitting here, but a lot of people can be sitting up here, or there can be a beacon on here. So sometimes you might miss somebody that is just sitting on there or be caught off guard. And then you always want to check like this specific spot here where people love to just sit. So those are the two real problem spots. And then obviously, one of the more popular ways to get into Bravo is through here. So you can just jump on these barriers. I think everybody knows this path, but you have to be careful because people can use this roof here, which, you know, arguably, maybe you shouldn't be able to get on this roof, but people do. And as you can see, it's not out of bounds. So you can technically get from this roof to that roof over there, which is a pretty nice spot. And you can do the same from here. So you could go from here to here and then like push Bravo from this angle here. So just a few extra ways for you to approach Bravo without going through the obvious routes. Now, on the topic of Bravo, so you have all these buildings here that, you know, people can potentially parachute onto. Some of them are out of bounds, some of them are not. So one way that you can actually get on these buildings, so if we're looking towards Delta here, this stack of crates right here, you can jump on here, jump on here, jump on the awning, and then you can get up on this roof and then get here. So you can stand on any roof here, and then you can obviously make your way to this one here. And this is a great place to put a spawn beacon because it's kind of covered by this little border on the roof of this building. So a very, very nice spot. Always make sure to check here if you think that people are coming in from potentially or arguably like just out of thin air, then you might want to look up here for a spawn beacon of some type. So yeah, very, very nifty little route here to go through and jump up on. Obviously parkour, big part of the game. You want to, you know, get up to the high ground as best as possible. So yeah, just an extra spot right there. So continuing our path down here, one very popular area for people to be on is this roof here. So there are multiple ways you can get on here. The most obvious one is the ramp right here. So if we were to jump, you know, just skip that, these crates here, jump on these shipping containers, then this ramp up, and then you can just jump on here. And this can also allow you to jump across on this roof, which gives you a better view of everything that's happening over here. And you can even like look into Charlie 1, look into that warehouse, but you have to be careful because people have a pretty nice view of you as well. But an alternate route to get up on this roof is simply going up the light post here, the electrical post. So you can just run up this thing straight and then get up on this roof very quickly without needing to go through the mantle animation. So if there is somebody sitting up here, then that is your alternate route because people will be expecting you to come up through this route here. Making our way towards one of the more popular camping spots in the game, which is up here. So there are multiple ways to get up there, and I will show them all to all of you. So there's the obvious one, which is the ladder here. You jump on this ladder, and then you jump on that ladder over there to get up there. But, you know, you're a sitting duck and people expect that push. Now, the other one that people also expect is back here. So we'll just make our way around. So you jump up on this right here, and then you jump up on this shipping container. Sometimes it can be finicky, but you jump up on this thing here. Then you get on this, like, the scaffolding beam, and then you can jump on the scaffolding and then make your way up here. People like to put spawn beacons or recon beacons behind this crate here because it's kind of obfuscated and you can't really see it from that specific angle. So make sure to check that. People love to also sit on these crates or put a spawn beacon right here. So always make sure to check that when you are making your way up here. But there's also another way to get up there if you don't want to use this more used path to get up there, you know, except the ladder, of course. So make your way towards Charlie 1. And then when you're in this alleyway here, so this spot right here, so I'm just going to open the map here. So between this warehouse and this compound of buildings, right here, this piece of scaffolding, you can actually run up the beam or walk up the beam, then just mantle up here, get up here. You can get on this roof too, so always check here for a recon beacon. And you can also get here. So it is out of bounds, but people do like to sit here. So, you know, it's a less used spot, but nonetheless, you might want to give it a quick look. But yeah, then you make your way onto this roof and then you can jump down onto the scaffolding and just skip that whole part here, which is very audible for people that are sitting up here. So it's very easy to hear people jumping up and mantling on these as opposed to jumping down and then you're already ready to fight if somebody is sitting at the top of those stairs. So very useful right there. And from here, you can actually make your way to some pretty weird spots. So if you sprint and jump here, you can make your way on this little balcony here, and then you can obviously get on these like awnings, but you can also walk on this ledge and then jump on this little piece of wood here, and then if you keep real tight here, you can actually walk all the way around here and then make your way back to the point where we started, so right here. So even though it looks like you can't walk on those ledges, you can, so just be aware of that. But from here you can also, you know, walk over here and then make your way to this roof, which is also another popular spot for people to sit at. So always check right here for a spawn beacon. And yeah, people like to sit up here, but there's also a ladder. But as usual, you know, ladders are a dead giveaway and they're pretty loud. So that is another way for you to get up here. So if we make our way towards Charlie 1, I want to highlight this warehouse here because a lot of people like to play out of here. So there's a ton of spots where people can be sitting. There can be recon beacons all over. So just make sure to scour this thing if you think that people are sitting here. But there's a lot of ways that you can fire out of this building without players having too much of an idea of where you are. So obviously you can just get up on these crates, get up on here, and then just crouch and fire at people that are over here, maybe camping on that roof or coming through these walls and or alleyways right here. Those are the obvious spots right there where you can just sit on the platforms. But you can also make your way over here and you can shoot to people that are on Charlie 1 from here. If you just jump on these crates right here and then just crouch down, you have a nice view of Charlie 1 going into Charlie 2, that whole road right there, and all of the different roofs that are around Charlie 1. So if you're getting shot at from here, chances are somebody's probably standing up on these crates. And then the other obvious spot where people like to sit or put beacons is right here. So, you know, you can get from the stairs to jump on this shelving unit and then on these crates, or you can simply, you know, just jump up on here and here. So, you know, pretty obvious spot. From here, we're going to move to Charlie 2, but, you know, people like to sit up here and then just fire on unsuspecting victims this way. And also right here, you can skip the wall or this area where you have to go around, you know, just jump up on here and here and then just go over like that. So making our way to Charlie 2, this flag can sometimes be a mess because there are so many ways to approach it. You know, you have all these ways to jump up on the shipping containers here, make your way over. You have this obvious route right here, but you have to be careful because there is a way to get up on this roof and it's in the back. So if we make our way to the back here, you can jump up on this little, I can't remember the name of this. Yeah, I can't remember the name of those little vehicles. Then jump up on this awning, then make your way to the roof. You can cap the flag from right here. All right, so again, always check these areas. If you can't find where the enemy is, chances are they are right here. Or people are just defending Charlie 2 from up here because you have a nice view from that warehouse. You can see the whole road from Charlie 1 and obviously people coming down this alleyway from Bravo. So really, really nice vantage point here and very, very easy to get to. Just not a lot of people know of it. And then obviously when you're looking around Charlie 2, a spot that people like to sit is right here between this planter, and then just look down this area here. Or right here behind the little bag of trash. So a few areas that you should check every time you're capturing Charlie 2. Otherwise, a pretty straightforward flag where you would find people in these spots with spawn beacons or whatever it may be. So once you cap Charlie 2, you want to make your way towards Charlie 1. I personally don't really like pushing this specific angle to Charlie 1. I like to flank around here and either make my way here and then over here and then skip this if you have a smoke grenade, throw it down here, or keep making your way over here, and then you approach from the back. Unless, of course, you're the opposite team, then you can just spawn in the uncap, but this is a very nice way to approach Charlie 1 from Charlie 2. And then there are multiple ways to get on every single roof that is around Charlie 2. So when you're approaching from this direction that I just showed you, you can jump up on this pile of logs, jump up on all these concrete bricks here, and then jump up on this awning, and then you are on this specific roof. So people like to sit here, pretty easy to get to. Always make sure that you check this if you're getting shot from somewhere. You can also get up on this roof, so you can jump on here and then jump on this awning, and then make your way up here. So always check here for spawn beacons. Very, very important. You can also go from here to here and then there, so you get on like this air conditioning unit. So that is another way for you to get up on this specific roof. If we make our way to this side, so this is also a roof that you can get up on top of. So there are multiple ways to approach it. You can either jump up on this wall here and then jump up on here, and then you have to do a little bit of fancy maneuvering. But if you can jump from this little metal awning, and then you have to kind of like run, jump, and then grapple onto that, which I completely missed. So let's do that again, but let's just do it from here. So you can get up on this generator, jump up on this awning, then jump, and I missed again because apparently I have completely forgotten how to play this game. So there you go. You can get up on this roof. People love to sit up here. It's a little bit more tricky to get up on this roof than a lot of the other roofs. So yeah, you might have to practice this a little bit. As you saw, I still missed quite a few jumps. But yeah, this is a great vantage roof when you're defending this point. It's a great place to fight off vehicles because they generally tend to not really look up here. But yeah, so that's pretty much one of the only ways that I know that you can get up on this specific roof is from that side. When you're fighting on Charlie 1, always check right here on this netting because people can cap from up here. You can shoot them from down below. There's no problem whatsoever. Bullets go straight through this, but always check here because it is a very popular spot. And then you have this roof that the Havoc forces usually like to get up on to defend Charlie 1 or push Charlie 1 when there's people on it. So you have the obvious path, which is the ladder, but you can also get there other ways. So if we make our way around here, right behind this wall, you have these two HESCO barriers, and you can just get up on the roof right here, and you can cap from up here. So again, always check these spots when you see somebody capping the flag, but you don't necessarily have eyes on them or can't find them, then they might be up on top of the roof, or they might be right there. That is also a very popular spot. People just sitting here, and then they have a nice view of Charlie 1 and can take you down quite easily. And in here, you would want to look for a spawn beacon inside this little building here. Sometimes people can just be sitting here. Very, very good place to defend. People generally don't tend to look here all that much, and you have eyes on that door, and if somebody's walking around this corner, you can very easily hear them. So a very, very good spot to hold and check when you're fighting on Charlie 1. So we're going to move to Delta now. And on our way to Delta, you can actually get on this roof. So if you get on this dumpster here, and then you jump on here, then you can get up on this roof, and it's a roof that is not out of bounds. So spawn beacons can be an issue up here, and also people just sitting here and firing down upon people that are attacking Charlie 2. So very important to check this roof. So yeah, you just have to get pretty creative when you're playing Delta Force because there are so many ways to get around things and on top of other things. So same thing here, you can get up on this truck, get up here, then get up on here, and then make your way on these fences because you can walk on the fences, then up on these containers, which you can't just jump up onto or mantle onto. You really have to do this path. So again, just trying to find creative ways to get around. And when you see somebody somewhere, if they're on a roof that you thought wasn't accessible, there is definitely a way to get up there. So just, run around, try to figure it out. Maybe load into an offline match. That would allow you to explore the maps a little bit more. So moving up to Delta here from Charlie or Bravo. So obviously people do like to camp up on that radio tower or the electricity pylon, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can make your way up. Just you can jump up on most of these rocks and just mantle. So don't necessarily always follow the predestined paths like these, because this will get you killed a lot of the time and people expect you to come through those. And on Delta, you can get on this roof here, and you can cap from here. So very, very easy, but a lot of people don't think to use these walls to their advantage, but very important to check on this roof because there can be beacons on there and you don't want to get caught with somebody on there. And then from here, yeah, you can jump up on this crate, and then run, jump, and make your way on this roof as well. So multiple ways to approach pretty much every high ground in Delta Force. You just have to find out the way that works the best for you, that's the most consistent, and that potentially people won't expect you to come from. And if we're talking flanks right off the rip, one of my favorite ones to do is take a vehicle directly from either side and make my way to their gimme flags, which in the Havoc's case is Charlie 1, and then for the GTI forces, it is A2. So you simply hop on any vehicle you want. So it can be the assault vehicle, the ATV, whatever you see fit. And you see this nice flank right here. Very underutilized. A lot of people don't use that. Now, I know it's a little bit different on mobile as far as I understand. The pathing or the actual map playable area is very different, but this is one of my favorite flanks to do because people don't expect you to be pushing so aggressively on their gimme flags that they're more often than not very engaged, or they're potentially not expecting a fight right off the rip. But very, very powerful flank right here. Make your way here, then you can just park the truck here, maybe put down a respawn beacon for your team should you see fit, and then maybe park the truck like right in this little nook here. As you can see, my driving skills aren't all that good, and this vehicle's very floaty. And then just make your way here. Very difficult for the enemy team to see. And as a side note here, wherever you're pointing is where you're going to exit the vehicle, so just point to where you want to go. But yeah, very nice flank to get right when the game starts on Cracked King of the Hill. And there's a lot of areas in this, you know, what side is this? North, I guess, northern part of Cracked. A lot of places that you can get up on the roofs, so always check here for snipers, beacons. If you have people coming through, you don't know where they're coming from, chances are they're probably coming from here. So you can get up on this rock, then get up here, and then get up on this roof right here. A very popular spot for spawn beacons in those rocks over there as well, so always important to check. This building right over here, which you can just get from straight from the rock, so just obviously run, jump, and then mantle over. And one last thing before we end the video here, because I showed you a lot of the pathing spots that I like to use to get it to different areas. Don't be afraid to go out of bounds and then come back in when you're trying to push a certain area of the map that maybe the enemies don't expect, because you can get some pretty sick flanks. Now, on Cracked, there's not so many opportunities for this, but on maps like Knife Edge and Shafted, where there's a lot more like specific lanes that you would go down, don't be afraid to go out of bounds to come back in to then potentially get some really, really good flanks off on your enemies. Now, I'll be able to show you guys all of these different ones when I do the different map guides, but I think this video has been going on for long enough. And again, I showed you pretty much every spot that I like to use, every pathing area that I like to go through to get on the high ground areas, the areas which I would look for spawn beacons. On that note, there's often a spawn beacon right there, and the only way to get up there is on that ladder, unfortunately. But yeah, a lot of different areas to go to. Just, you know, explore the maps, figure out ways to get up on roofs, because those are the ways that other people are getting up on those roofs, and then putting down recon beacons and being aggressive, consistently putting pressure on specific flags. So that'll do it for today's Cracked map guide. As I said, already been going on for long enough. I'll potentially do one for AD, albeit I don't play AD all that much, but I'm sure a lot of the tricks that I showed you today can apply to that specific game mode as well. If you think I missed any, please leave them in the comment section down below. I would love to see how you guys approach Cracked on King of the Hill yourselves. But yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.